I'm here, so.
I'm Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
Howdy, Oklahoma.
My name is Chet Holmgren, and I'm down to dunk.
Dead gum.
I'm Josh Giddey, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to dunk.
Is that like you eat them together?
Everybody tells him to get the bag of burgers.
I need like a straw. Like.
Howdy. I'm an artist on the court.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
My name is Kenrich Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
It might be Aaron Wiggins.
This is a troll. It's a troll. I'm trolling.
Howdy, Papa.
Because I think it would take away from who he is, you know? Yeah.
I love Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma to death.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
Perfect. Very good.
I like the hat.
You like the hat?
Vava.
This is J-Dub, and I'm down to dunk. I've been doing a lot of dunking.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. And the Thunder, I mean, the first triggered emergency pod of the season. The Thunder come back to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 108-105 in Cleveland. The Thunder down.
So back. We're so back.
We are so back. I've got the L man. I've got Al with me. The Thunder were down 10 with 2:37 left. Win probability of like 95+%. Somebody had it in here in the chat. It seemed impossible. I'm sitting there watching it with my family. My kids are like, "Yeah, this is over. Like this is over." I'm like, "Just hang in, guys. I still got some time." And honestly, there's Tayshawn's with us too.
Oh my God, we are so back.
We are so
back. We are so back.
We are so back. I will say the thing that really got this thing going. I mean, Shea obviously made a three. Lou Dort made a three, and then Mark challenged the block.
Yeah.
That was, and it was an amazing block from Chet, but it was like a block assist from Mark to Chet. Because if he doesn't challenge that and he's just like, all right, maybe Evan Mobley will miss, and like Evan makes, I mean, that shifted a lot of momentum because the Cavs were really frustrated throughout a lot of the second half. And that was one of the tipping points. And then obviously, man, just gutsy 3-point shots from Shea, J-Dub, and then Chet just pulled up at the time. I mean,
incredible.
It was, and he pulled up so fast that I was like, I don't know if this is such a good idea. And he switched it. And I believe that's what tied the game at 102. Yes. And then Luguentz Dort did his Dortious drive. And you are just like, oh no. Is this our best option? Could this possibly be the best thing for our team? And it was. He made the shot for them to go up 104-102 in just what felt like the blink of an eye, because the Thunder offense had stagnated to just about nothing for what felt like forever. And then suddenly Cleveland just absolutely goes in the tubes, and the Thunder are just making everything, and just they came back to win just an improbable game. I don't know, man. This was crazy. Al, give me some of your thoughts.
I just love how many guys contributed down the stretch. Like it really wasn't a Shea takeover. I mean, Shea was great. He was incredible in this game, but it really was every single guy on the court. I mean, you mentioned those 4 threes in a row, all by different guys, like Dort, SGA, J-Dub, and then Chet. And then Dort with that driving floater jump shot, it says here. God, that was insane. Like, as he was deciding, I was like, you know what? This kind of makes sense because he does have a lot of room. Like, there is a path to the basket here. But that was a really tough finish for Dort.
It was. Dort was incredible tonight, not only as a defender, but offensively. J-Dub and Giddey were pretty brutal throughout most of the night.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't make anything. They couldn't get in the lane. It felt like the Cavs had like a billion steals because the Thunder just couldn't get into the teeth of the defense ever. Let's see, they had 10 steals. It felt like they had 20 because the Thunder couldn't get there. And Dort was one of the best players tonight. 25 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, a steal, a block, only 1 turnover. He did have the 5 fouls that took him out of the game there a little bit at the end, but 25 points on 13 shots. Like, this has to be one of Dort's best games.
What was his plus minus?
-6.
-6.
All right, baby. But you know what? He was probably -12 until the end of that game.
That I still just can't believe they won that game. I thought it was over.
Yeah, I can't either.
And the Cavs actually played like it was over too. With the 2:37 left, they're up 10. It was over.
Every one of those threes felt like one of those late game situations where it's like, just give it to them. Like, who cares? Like, even if they make it, what's going to happen? They would have to hit 3 more in a row, you know? And so, like, as they were happening, like, each one just progressively got like more crazy. And even after they had hit 2, I was like, this is cool. And then you had that's when you had the Chet block play, which at that point it was a 6-point game. If he fouls him, Mobley probably makes at least 1 of 2.
Yeah.
And so they're up 7, and the game might be over at that point.
Well,
Chet had 7 blocks, which is so dope.
Chet was awesome. He had 5 blocks at halftime. He just absolutely destroyed Evan Mobley in this game. Chet was really good. That 3 he took though at the end of the game was so ballsy. It was like
that was a Moose 3.
That's Moose 3.
What's our offense going to do without Moose this year?
I want to read just some stat lines. I read the Dort one, which is a great one. Shea, 34, 11 boards, 4 assists, 5 steals, a block. He did have 5 turnovers, which it felt like he had more than that, honestly. There were a lot of turnovers. The Thunder turned over 18 times in this game. They turned it over a lot. He was really good. Chet with 16, 13, 2, 1, and 7. just absolutely absurd. They didn't get a whole lot from the bench tonight. I thought Cason Wallace was pretty good in his minutes. 9 points and 3 of 4 from the field. And then Joe had a rough night, 2 of 10 from the field. Micic played. He played minutes.
He did. Hey, but Joe did have one of the kickouts. I think it was the J-Dub 3.
The J-Dub. Yeah. Great play.
Wasn't that play right after the Chet challenge?
Yes.
Chet challenge?
I believe that's right.
I think there was a Chet block, and then we had the ball, and then that was the play coming out of that challenge.
I believe that's correct. That feels right in my brain.
Doesn't it feel good to just have game 2 under this kind of energy? It feels so
That's what I'm saying, dude. We're effing back, dude. This feels like even the turnovers, like the 18 turnovers, and then I think we had 15 or 16 last game too. Even that, I'm like, even that feels like the 2010 Thunder. I just remember every game back then, like their turnovers were insane, and they would win great games like this.
Yeah. They just stagnated for so long though during the fourth quarter that
that's what was so frustrating because
it's gonna happen. Yeah,
we haven't even talked about it yet, but like that first half was incredible.
They were really good.
Like their defense in that first half had me feeling like, oh my god, this team is unstoppable. Mm-hmm. Like if they play defense like this, who is going to beat them? And they have so many offensive weapons. And I was so pumped going into halftime. And you're thinking, okay, we're getting third quarter Thunder coming out. And it felt like Cleveland just like punched them in the mouth like the second they came out of the half. And then it just like slowly dwindled away. And then, the offense just stagnated for so long. And that's why you had kind of given up, because it wasn't like they were making some furious comeback. They had given up the game. Like they were the ones that had been so good.
We got 50% from 3.
Did we really? So that's 2 games in a row.
Again?
Listen to this. They scored 29 points in the fourth quarter. They scored 11 of those 29 in the first until 2 minutes and 25 seconds left in the game.
Wow.
They had 11 points in the quarter. And then they scored all the rest
18.
of the 29. They scored 18
Jeez.
points in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Dort hit the 3 with 2:18 left, and that began
Wow, that was
barrage.
18 points.
It was 18 points. It was a Dort 3, a Shea 3, the coach's challenge. The Thunder got the ball back on the coach's challenge. J-Dub 3, Chet 3, drive from Dort.
Wow.
And then J-Dub 2 free throws, Shea 2 free throws.
That's awesome that we can do that. Like, and we're not relying on one player. You know, it's not like, oh, if Russ has an off, we're done.
Yeah.
Like that.
Jay.
Hi, Jay.
What's up, Kay? Hey, can I
Somebody
say
wake
this?
McKellar. Somebody wake up McKellar to get the
Yeah,
whole-
what's McKellay's problem?
Come on, dude. What is it?
Yeah,
like 4 p.m.?
he's
not gonna-
mad that he's mad that Dort was good.
So I was gonna say he's not gonna show his face. Hey, I can't stay long, but I just want, like, what was more surprising, the victory tonight or the fact that the record that Chet broke was Poku's?
Dude, I couldn't believe that when they said Poku had 6 blocks his rookie year. I was like, "What? That's the record he's breaking?"
That whole year was like a
year.
fever
We can't
dream.
even truly confirm if it actually happened. Okay. I don't even think there's a record of it really happening.
That is so funny.
Man, he legitimately could. I mean, I know we've talked about it before in kind of a joking way, but he could get a 5x5 one day. He could. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Poku?
Well, honestly, you could have 2 5x5s in the same game with Chet and Poku.
Whoa.
Think about that.
Chet could do it. I mean, you can imagine. I mean, he got to 5 blocks like that in this game.
Yeah.
The
And
assist part, because I jokingly mentioned a quadruple double, but the assist part, it doesn't seem like that's the most natural part of his game right now. But man, he was special tonight. And that was a stupid win. So, what happened for you to get the emergency pod? I forget which one of the 25 scenarios it had to be.
I mean, the scenario where we're down 10 with 2:18 left.
No, the scenario was that we learned that Poku had 6 blocks.
Yeah.
We could have an emergency pod.
Wait, Poku had 6 blocks 3 years ago? Emergency pod. Yeah.
Yeah, for Chet to do that on 9 shots. He took 9 shots in that game.
9
That's
shots.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was so dominant.
He was. And I think it's time that we start having the conversation that Chet is a better prospect / player than Evan Mobley. Like we need to start having the conversation.
And listen, Evan Mobley was a lot better in the second half, and he had a few really nice scores against Chet.
He did.
He's obviously very good, but the shooting component, like
That's
Chet's coming out of the gates as apparently like a 50%, 60% 3-point shooter, and we know that's not going to hold. But like you're so confident already when he shoots, whereas Mobley, that's just not really part of his game yet.
Yeah.
What is has John Hollinger tweeted about this game yet? This was the
this is the
Bowl.
Hollinger Bowl. Yeah.
This was the Hollinger
That's
Bowl.
why we did the emergency pod.
That's why.
The problem with the Hollinger Bowl right now is that the second best
missing
player on
2
the
of the
Thunder
best
didn't play tonight. You know, or the would-be second best player on the Thunder didn't play tonight. So
Wait, who was that?
Darius Garland or Jared Allen.
Jared Allen.
Oh, Jared Allen. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we probably should remind ourselves that.
You know what? Shut up, Alex. Not tonight. Not tonight. You're not doing this.
Hey,
we didn't have Kenrich.
Yeah, we
that's
didn't
right.
have
Or Jay Will or Poku. He
Will.
didn't play.
No
And
Poku.
to be fair, they
tonight.
didn't really have Giddy or J-Dub for 99% of the game.
I'm gonna say Giddy had 2
Giddy was
points on
rough.
8 shots.
Yeah.
It was rough. Dub had 14 on 14.
Shea didn't go to the line until garbage time, until
Yep.
fouls.
Until those last 2. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And Shea, that was an interesting part of the game. Shea clearly gets fouled
Yeah.
in the toward the middle of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that is Karis LeVert and
Yeah.
Max Strus came over and double teamed him, and
Yeah,
one of the
and
two of them definitely fouled.
Harris had his arm that the official couldn't see in there, and clearly got him. And you'd never see Shea that frustrated with officials ever. He usually just lets it go. He was really mad about that one and was vocalizing it to the officials. It takes a lot to get Shea there. And yeah, that it was a strangely officiated game, poorly officiated in a lot of ways. I thought, I don't know. It was a frustrating watch in a lot of ways, and I don't like to even mention the officials if I don't have to. But I thought it was a very poorly officiated game.
Well, I was gonna say it was a tough whistle for the Thunder all night. I mean, even the fact that you have to use a coach's challenge on that Chet block that was like pretty clear. So Shea's not going to the line, which is alert number one. And then you have to use coaches' challenges to get a block, a very clear block. That's a tough whistle that the Thunder played through all night, and they won.
So Chet has just tweeted at the NBA, please go watch the tape and give me the correct number of blocks. I don't care about stats, but I worked hard AF for those. Good W, Thunder up, lol.
Good W, Thunder up, lol needs to be like our sign off for every podcast.
Good W,
Thunder up, lol.
Good W, Thunder up,
dude.
lol.
We're so back. I love Chet. Chet has brought some energy to this team that is so immediate. You can just
and a little
feel
bit
it.
of swagger.
Yeah. What other post game tweets have we been getting the last like 4 years?
Well, we get Shea vague Instagram posts. That's it.
But that's not it though. Like that.
No.
I mean, those are cool, but like, good W, Thunder up, lol we're not getting that from Shea.
I want to ask just a quick question. How hard do you think it is to go, like, what disadvantage does a team have that this was back-to-back home openers for other teams? Like, as much as there are things like, obviously, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, the Bulls being the Bulls, all of those things, like, that's just for this team being as young as they are, it's a really impressive thing to go into environments that are going to be pretty naturally higher ramped up and to come out successful twice. Man, that's impressive in and of itself, let alone having, 2 decent road wins. Even if it was middle of the season, you'd be pretty excited about this. But going into environments that are pretty high energy for the home crowd, I don't know. That's one of those things I was just thinking about how even more impressive it is.
It's a massive boost because now you look at their schedule and they have 6 straight home games. Like they are going to be home until November the 9th.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a lot of home games. There's definitely some like really winnable ones. There's some tough ones. Like the Thunder's home opener against Denver is a really tough one. But yeah, I mean they get to play at home for a while and they get to get comfortable. They get a chance to practice a little bit because they are home, don't have any travel days. So it's very exciting.
Hopefully they can get J. Will and Kenrich healthy.
Yeah, I mean
J. Will's important against the Nuggets.
Yeah, this is also a game where they could have really used at least one of those guys off the bench because like the physicality was just completely absent from someone like Ousmane Dieng.
Yeah, I was going to mention and it feels unfair because on the one hand, they obviously want to get him on the court, but the way this team is set up right now, the easiest way to get him on the court is to play him as a big.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's a big, but on this team, like, who else are you going to play? He's almost 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
And so I get why they're putting him in that position, but I don't like it. I don't think it puts him in the position to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a guy that on offense you notice him when he takes his shots or when he has the ball, right? On defense, you still can't see his effect on that end of the ball. To me, I just don't notice him on the defensive end.
When I do notice him, it's because he's out on the perimeter with that crazy length, just making a guard's life miserable. Like him on the inside trying to stop anyone. Like I just don't. That's just not his game right now. Maybe it will become his game, but I just don't think that's his game.
Yeah, I mean the rotation off the bench was really interesting because the guys that actually played, like Lindy played just very sparse minutes, but you had essentially 4 guards and Dieng off the bench.
Yeah,
I mean they played really, really small tonight. I mean Chet is the only real big that played in this game tonight.
And honestly, what was their option? Poku or Sarr, those are the 2 options.
Yeah.
Poku, he got a few minutes in that first game, but they probably didn't want to throw him out in a game where, it's coming down to the wire. I guess they could have played Bertans. Again, he's tall, but not a big.
Yeah.
So it was basically your option was Sarr, probably. and I understand why they decided not to go down that route.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it was fine. I think. I mean, obviously they won the game. They made the best decisions that they could for the team, and their best players are guards too. Like Casey Wallace is like showing himself to be one of their better players. Vava had some interesting minutes. He started his Thunder career with 2 turnovers, one like a travel, and then he threw the ball away, trying to like thread the needle to Jang, who just clearly did not have any interest in having the ball. And then he made a 3, and that was cool. And that was really just about it for him. I thought Aaron Wiggins played good defense down the stretch for them. He was somebody that they had in toward the end of the game. I thought he played really well. Isaiah Joe struggled to shoot it. He was only 1 of 7 from 3. But like you said, like that kick out pass, just like starting to do all the little things. This is kind of what I was talking about after game 1. Though. I was like, man, I was kind of impressed with Isaiah Joe because he can really do a lot more. And he played the most off the bench in 22 minutes. I think he's starting to solidify himself as like one of like the Thunder guys.
No, I think that's actually a really good sign because if he was just a player like Duncan Robinson, if he's not hitting his shots, like you just pull him off the court. Like that's what Miami did all of last year. Once Duncan Robinson couldn't hit threes anymore, like he really didn't serve any value to Miami. Whereas I still feel like Isaiah Joe can contribute even when his shot's not falling, and you trust the shot enough that you feel like it's eventually going to come back, even if it's not within the same game. Like they're going to throw him out next game, and he'll probably hit some threes.
Yep. Yeah, just unbelievable game. Yeah, the bench was mostly not great. Shea was unreal. Shea had 26 shots tonight, 34 on 26 shots. Didn't get to the free throw line much. A lot of that is like Cleveland plays great defense, and the officials I thought were just like flat out bad tonight. But
it is weird though. It is an early season trend. He's had 7 free throw attempts through 2 games.
Yeah,
after averaging like whatever, like double digits, right? Last year.
Yeah, he had 10, averaged 10 per game last year. I think we'll obviously see that go up. Shea's defense is something that I think has improved. That the block that he had on Donovan Mitchell to end the third quarter.
Yeah.
It's just absurd. Like he's like a weak side shot blocker. Like what in the world is going on here? He was absurd in this one. Shea was the best player on the floor. I know Mitchell was really good too. Like I don't want to discount Mitchell, who had 43 points, 8 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks.
Hey, who was the third best player on the floor though?
Dort.
Oh, I was going to say Chet, but yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, Chet probably. But
Dort was awesome. Dort was
really
good in this game.
He was.
This is the night where the Dort fans stand up. This is the night where we punish Michele. We tell Michele, this is why they paid Dort. Like this is why. Lean in, everybody.
People can't see on YouTube, but Michele is actually in the waiting room. We're just not bringing him on to the screen.
No, Michele.
You don't want to hear it, Michele.
No, Michele. You may not enter the pod because Dort was great, man. Down to Dort. That's right. We got Penny in the chat. Down to Dort.
Down to Dort, dude. Dort had a 3 at the top of the arc, too, with about 3 minutes left, something like that, that I thought, okay, I will admit this, too. Early in the fourth, when I saw Dort had 23 points or whatever, I was like, oh, that's never a good sign. If Dort has 23 points, that usually means the other guys are not playing well, which was true at that point, right? Giddey and J-Dub were not playing well. And I was like, dang, this isn't good if Dort has 23 points. But you know what? I was wrong. Dort was great.
That drive
was great. He finished out the game.
That drive when they were tied and Dort was headed to the hoop, I thought, oh no.
Yeah.
Like this.
Because you could see the guys he could kick it out to.
Yes.
Like,
there were options. But in Dort's mind, there's only one option. Get to the hoop. And he finished his shots around the rim tonight. He did well. 9 of 13. All the credit to Dort. I thought he was awesome. Defensively, he was great. Offensively, they really, really needed him tonight because of the lack of production from Giddey and J-Dub. They needed him so badly throughout the night, and he delivered. This is the Dort game. Shout out to Dort.
Did he block that Donovan Mitchell jumper?
Donovan Mitchell
did
jumper.
Block it?
Yeah. I mean,
I couldn't tell if he blocked it or not.
So badly. I mean, it didn't It didn't even get close to the rim. He had to.
Yeah, I think he had to have tipped it or something.
Yeah, and then Chet grabbed the ball. Man,
Yeah.
that was just incredible. Just what an absurd game. What else? What else did we notice from this?
I mean, I kind of want to go back to J-Dub and Giddey because, I mean, we can talk about how bad they were, but for this team to survive that, to be able to survive that, I think is pretty notable. Because it did feel, even last year, it kind of like you had to have multiple guys having good games to feel confident about a win. And those two guys, I mean, they were really bad for most of that game.
5 of 2 for them.
And with Giddey, like, man, the floater thing is tough because he's good at floaters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is good, but he's said it. Like, he lets the defense settle when he just takes those shots. Like, he doesn't make them commit or anything, and that's kind of the reason why he hasn't been getting the line a lot. And so every time I see him take those floaters, and it wasn't obviously going down tonight, I'm just like, man, I wish you would just go in stronger. And then there was another play, I think it ended in a turnover, where he just drove all the way to the rim and then got like stonewalled and was just kind of spinning around, not knowing what to do, and then having to pass out. I thought he had a pretty disappointing game, but they were still able to survive it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I thought Giddey was getting the shots that he normally gets at the beginning of the game, and they were just rimming out. And some of them they're such difficult shots because they are like long range bank shots.
Yeah, and like running full speed, like
they're
floating it up.
Such challenging shots, and I all the time when they go in, they seem to go in a lot. I was just like, man, I get it. Like, these are tough shots. These are like really high degree of difficulty shots. This will be one of Giddey's worst shooting games of the season. One, he just didn't take that many, and then he just missed almost every shot that he took. And still, they trust him to be in there at the end of the game. They sub him in like just for inbounds passes there in the first half. Like, he's just an absurdly smart player that you have to just continue to keep him in the game.
Yeah, we're talking about how bad of a game he had. He also had like 2 of the highlight passes of the game, like both of those inbounds. I think one was to Shea, one was to Isaiah Joe, maybe. Both incredible passes.
Yeah. Yeah, he still had 6 boards, 6 assists, but obviously not the greatest game from him. But yeah, I mean, it was all on Shea and Chet and then Dort. Like, those 3 were incredible. And then J-Dub started to catch fire a little bit and then hit those clutch free throws too. I mean, that's a lot of pressure on you, especially after battling back. And then you're at the line and you're playing the free throw game now. And if you miss these, you have Donovan Mitchell that is going to get the ball. And how many clutch shots have we seen from Donovan Mitchell, throughout his career?
Yeah.
So many clutch shots from him. And so, like, for Dub to have the clutch 3 that people are mentioning in the chat, and then plus the clutch free throws, like that was big time. Like, all those guys that hit the clutch free throws, and then it was just cool to see it be a variety of guys, like you said, down the stretch that hit those clutch threes. It wasn't just, like you said, Shea just hitting like 5 threes in a row, right? But it was everybody had their turn to hit a clutch 3. It just was so much fun. I mean, you had Dort, Shea, J-Dub, Chet. It was like the threes. And it's funny because a lot of times you watch games like this and they're down 10. You're like, well, if we get a stop, and then if we just bomb threes and get more stops and just keep like bombing threes, then like we can get back in this game. And it just never, ever happens except for tonight. And it was just incredible to watch. And I still kind of can't believe that it happened.
Andrew, would you like to stay on the line until the Rockets lose?
Yeah, I would love to.
Do you know what happened in that game?
I've not been monitoring that game at all.
So Wembanyama hit the game-tying shot at the end of the fourth quarter to send it to overtime.
Wow.
And now the Spurs are up by 4 with 20 seconds left, which is pretty awesome.
Oh, I'm looking at the box right now. Like, Şengün has had himself a game, 25, 14, and 7. Van Vliet, 24, 8, and 11. Jalen Green, 18 points on 18 shots. Shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah, this is interesting. Jabari with 13 points on 16 shots. Shout out. Yeah, wow. And they're going to lose to San Antonio in overtime. Wow.
Other good thing I'm feeling good about is all our talk about Detroit, which I was a little nervous about us saying those nice things about Detroit, and they went out and held Charlotte to 99 points. Kind of dominated them at the end.
They really dominated the game from the beginning.
Yeah,
kind of held on to it throughout that one. I was keeping an eye on that one too, out of sheer nervousness.
Yeah, every time we record on Friday, you know, like we're going to say something on Slam and Jam. And it's always like no one really cares. Like no one's ever said anything to us on Twitter. But I still like dread the time when I'm going to say something really nice about a team and then they just go out and look like crap.
I've done it multiple times. I've done it so many times. Well, we like completely jinxed the Blazers in every way possible.
I know
with
that
the
really
Anthony
sucks.
Simons thing where we talked him up more than anybody on the show.
Probably did, yeah.
And
he immediately gets
and then he has
knocked out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, they heard too much. Like, yeah, he needs surgery. Yeah.
Okay, so
right now, is the game over? This game over yet?
No, there's 14 seconds left. Now it's a 2-point game.
Oh,
I might have to turn this on. Okay, so next game is Denver.
It's a big one. It's a big game, and it's the home opener. It's a Sunday afternoon game.
Okay.
Which is weird, and weird things happen on like Sunday afternoon games. Like that is not a normal time. That is not like a normal time for NBA players to be active. There's a lot of naps going on for NBA players, typically around 2:30 in the afternoon on a Sunday. So I mean, I'd say anything can happen. I
mean, they certainly didn't look invincible tonight against Memphis. I mean, Derrick Rose was killing them for parts of that game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'm fascinated to see how they attack Jokic because they do have a big. They have one big.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see SAR time?
Could be SAR time. What about Poku?
Yeah, I know. I kind of am interested what's going on with Poku. I mean, obviously he's healthy enough to play. I wonder if they're going to just like slowly work him back in, or if they'll just throw him out there one game and all of a sudden he's playing 15 minutes a night or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it could be interesting. The Blazers are only down 5 to the Magic right now. They're starting Sharp and Henderson, which is what we talked about shouldn't happen. and now they're there. Dominating with 6 points and 5 boards.
All right, game's over. The Houston Rockets are 0-2.
0-2, looking good for Houston. 2-0 for the Thunder. This is poetry right now.
Except
also,
for the fact that we do want that pick.
I was going to say, by the way, the Rockets need to win some games so that we can get that pick.
Although think about it this way. Everyone says it's a weak draft. Would you rather have a 50% shot at the 5th pick or like pretty much guaranteed like 9th pick?
I would rather have a 50% shot at the 5th pick.
Okay, well in that case, let's go. 0-2.
Go Houston. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, give me that. Give me the. I mean, if the Thunder wound up with the 5th pick in this draft and the Rockets were horrific, like every piece of that feels better, right?
It would. I mean, it would feel like getting something back from when their pick didn't fall.
Yeah, because us getting the 9th pick and them progressing as a franchise is a win-win for both teams.
That's true.
I don't want a win-win for both teams.
You don't.
I want a win-loss, which is them losing, spending all this money, and the Thunder getting the 5th pick. That's what I want.
So I'm trying to remember, who did they play? Who was their first game? Oh, no. Who's their first game? Oh, Orlando. Yeah, they've lost by 30 to Orlando, who we think is a good team. Mm-hmm. And now they got beat by the Spurs, who most people have as, like one of like a bottom 5 team most likely.
Yeah, they're not a great team. They just don't have any guards. They have like 0 guards.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Now,
weird.
Houston also has 7. They have 7 straight home games because they also had 2 road games to start. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this all feels so like definite, like it just feels like we know something. But the truth is, like, there's 80 games left.
Man, there are apparently so many crazy games happening right now. Something just happened in the Dallas game. They went up by 3 with 23 seconds left. Oh, Luka hit a 25-foot jump bank shot, whatever that is.
Wow. We also have Toronto, Chicago in overtime with a minute left. Still haven't broke 100.
This is like the guys who do playback, except you can't see the screen, and neither can we. We're just looking at box scores, updating. Maybe this is the future. Tune in for this. We're just reading. We're just on Gamecast.
People, this Houston does have a bunch of home games, but listen to who they play: Golden State, Charlotte, winnable; Sacramento, Lakers, Pelicans, Nuggets.
Yeah, that's tough.
And then they go on the road: Clippers, Lakers, Warriors; Memphis, Nuggets, Mavs; Nuggets, Lakers, Spurs; Memphis, Bucks, Cavs. Now we're in like the middle of December.
I mean, I guess that's every team, because like who is the team that you're chalking up as an automatic win when you play them at this point?
There's just Eastern Conference
Probably the
teams that
Wizards.
are not that good. There's much more Eastern Conference teams that are either like mediocre or not good at all.
Yeah.
But like that's just really tough. And Memphis is not good. They play Memphis 3 times here before December 15th. So those are winnable games because I just don't think Memphis is very good. San Antonio is another winnable game, but they've already lost a winnable game. They've already lost 2 winnable games, really. Where I don't think Orlando's that good, and San Antonio's not that good either. So like losing 2 winnable games does not feel good. I mean, they've got to beat Charlotte November 1st if they're going to hang in there. But like Sacramento is good. The Lakers are good. The Warriors are good. Like those are all playoff teams. Is kind of my point. Is that a majority of the teams that they're going to play here are playoff teams.
Well, Andrew, I think we should close it out. I think there's only one way to close this out. Hold on just a second. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
I think we got to spin until we get the pick.
Let's spin until we get the pick.
So we're on Tankathon. Houston has the number 1 odds. We're back on Tankathon, but now for a good reason. Let's spin. Let's see how long it takes. Oh, the first spin!
We got it, the first
spin. The 5th pick.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow.
How beautiful is that?
Our first emergency pod of the season.
And of course, the Zards get the first pick in what everyone thinks is like a terrible draft.
Oh,
perfect.
This is beautiful. This is destiny. Remember this night, Thunder fans. Wow. Remember this night. Good W. Thunder up. Lol.